Belmont University is the scene of the final presidential debate. Students tell us what it's like for their school to host this major event.
The Presidential Debate Commission made changes to limit interruptions. We'll tell you about some of the new debate rules.
And USC students will have the chance to put their social media knowledge to the test in our new segment, Hashtagged.
Tonight will be the last time that Donald Trump and Joe Biden will share a stage before the general election. Good evening, I'm Cambry Guest reporting from Los Angeles.
And I'm Leona Falk reporting from LA. In tonight's debate, the rules have changed to avoid a repeat of what happened during the first debate. Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee is hosting tonight's presidential debate. With increased COVID-19 precautions and the debate so close to the election, Belmont students shared how hosting the debate is affecting them.
Like this summer has been just nothing but going back to the drawing board and then re-evaluating our situation. So it's just definitely been an experience rolling with the punches, like we like to say.
Yeah, we say adaptability is our best resume builder.
Yeah.
So there was actually 5 of our residence halls that were impacted by the perimeter that the Secret Service had established. So they got moved. Belmont partnered with the Opryland Hotel. So they got moved to Opryland and then are now going to have a watch party at Music City Center, which is a convention center in downtown Nashville.
It kind of takes their mind off of all the security and the fencing, stuff like that. Like we have one committee member at Opryland right now helping with these fun activities and these watch parties there just to get students engaged.
The only 2 impacts it has really had are for the people that have to move out of their on-campus housing for a couple of days, and then we're not having in-person classes on the day of the debate. I think there's a lot of excitement about the presidential debate, but at the same time, there is a lot of concern, I think, among students about the coronavirus.
Candidates Trump and Biden made their way to Nashville this morning. There are big changes being implemented for this debate. The candidate who was not asked the question will have his microphone muted. This was not the case in the last debate.
Wasn't given tens of millions of dollars. That is totally,
We've already been through.
This debate, candidates Trump and Biden will each have 2 minutes to answer questions while the opposing candidate will have his microphone muted. The debate commissioner co-chair says these rules are not new, but this will give the moderator a way to enforce them.
There's no question that that first debate was a disappointment, I think, for everybody. As you know, there were a lot of interruptions, and to be fair, it was on both sides on occasions. When the moderator asked candidate number 1 to begin their 2 minutes to talk uninterrupted, the other candidate's mic will not be live. After the 4 minutes is over, the microphones are open.
Part of what happened in the first debate was at some point, Chris Wallace really retreated from that role of interrupting. And I think what you may see tonight is if the president continues that eruption pace, it won't just be Vice President Biden saying, don't interrupt, or, was the great phrase, will you please shut up? I think that you will also see the moderator step in tonight and she will explain it's important and this is the rules that we've agreed to. That's why the microphones aren't on. So I think you're likely to see the moderator take on a more active role in enforcing that.
Pressure is on tonight for presidential debate moderator Kristen Welker. She will be the first Black woman to ever moderate a presidential debate. Welker is a White House correspondent and a weekend co-anchor for Today on NBC. The 44-year-old extensively covered the Obama administration, along with the Hillary Clinton campaign in 2016. The Harvard graduate is originally from Philadelphia. Unlike the first debate, the final presidential debate will have extra precautions because of COVID-19. This is necessary to reduce the risk of spreading the virus in a city where cases are on the rise. Everyone attending the debate must wear a mask, social distance, and have their temperature checked. Everyone must have also tested negative for the virus within the last week. Extra air vents were installed for the debate as a precaution. An infectious disease specialist at Vanderbilt University explains the purpose of these air vents.
If you increase the air exchange in a room, you dilute the amount of virus in the air and reduce it to the point where it's more difficult to establish an infection in someone else. I was wondering whether there were going to be barriers between the speakers. Every little thing helps.
Across the United States, the number of people who have voted early is already 30% of the number of votes cast in 2016. One expert says that for those who remain undecided, tonight's debate will probably not make a big difference. The debate topics include fighting COVID-19, American families, race in America, climate change, national security, and leadership. Some USC students say there are some things they'd like to hear from our future commander-in-chief.
Race seems pretty broad, so I wonder what exactly they're going to cover in that. I would hope to talk about police brutality more specifically. But I do want to hear more about their actual policies, because that's not something that we've heard in the past debate that they had.
Immigration reform and foreign policy. Both of those are super important. Foreign policy especially, they never treat it as much as an important issue as much as it should be. These are kind of just the standard, basic policy areas that are brought up in every debate. The situation going on in Nigeria is not probably going to be brought up at all.
In a year of record-breaking temperatures, massive wildfires, and devastating floods, the impact of climate change has become impossible to ignore. Americans have already expressed concern about the future of the environment, and tonight, they want to hear what the candidates have to say about it.
With the last president and with the vice presidential debates, it very much seemed like climate change is still up for debate in the minds of Donald Trump and Mike Pence, as well as the ways in which these questions are being asked. At the end of the day, I think what's going to be a huge driver in getting people out to vote is just a difference in how these administrations are dealing with the scientific community. It's quite problematic and I think detrimental to Americans who are trying to actually figure out a lot of the complex issues that are going on with the climate crisis.
And for those voters who are just trying to figure it out, Jackson has a few words of advice for how to watch tonight's debate.
Yeah, just again, kind of paying attention to the nuances of the statistics and the arguments that these candidates are making to just decide who you think is the best choice in order to protect the climate for years to come.
Across the United States, the number of people who have voted early is already 30% of the number of votes cast in 2016. One expert says that for those who remain undecided, tonight's debate will probably not make a big difference.
Undecided voters, they're often one-issue voters. They're often people who dislike everything about Trump, for example, but they may be strongly pro-life. We're down to only really a relatively small number of undecided voters at this point. So I don't think this debate will make all that much difference. What you have to do is try to turn out the undecided voters who lean toward you and discourage the undecided voters who lean toward your political opponent.
In the past 2 elections, about 10% of voters say presidential debates influenced their vote. According to the Pew Research Center, in 1992, 12% of voters said they were directly influenced by the debates. It was 17% in 2000 and 11% in 2004.
Going to the doctor's office can teach you an awful lot about your own personal health. Yet one healthcare company is taking that one step further by educating their patients on voter participation rights.
Ultimed Medical Group is a local Southern Californian community health services chain that started an outreach program to educate their patients on the importance of voting.
So this program started about 5 years ago when I started working for Ultimed. And we realized that there was a strong correlation between our clients and low propensity voters. And that correlation also allowed us to see that there's a strong connection with people's health and wellness depending on their civic engagement.
Ultimed particularly wants to reach Latino voters, as they make up 30% of voters in California, according to the Pew Research Center.
I think this election is going to have consequences for the next 40 years. And Latinos are the largest minority group in the country. And if we show up and vote, the power dynamics of those decision makers and how they speak to us and how they treat us is going to dramatically change.
With the presidential debate tonight, Ultimed hopes that Latino voters will be inspired to exercise their essential democratic rights.
I know that folks are more engaged. They are going to tune into the debates. And I couldn't be prouder of the folks that we take care of and the communities that we serve in their desire, their passion, and commitment to having their voices heard.
Hopefully, Ultimed inspires LA citizens to make a change this November. For Annenberg Media, I'm Trevor Kefauver.
With hashtags and tweets filling up our feed, Twitter has become a major resource for communication. But how well do we really know what's trending? See It Live is proud to present a new weekly game, Hashtagged. Hello, everybody, and welcome to See It Live's first ever hashtag segment. So today we have Tessa, Emily, and Julia as our 3 contestants. So here are the rules. I'm going to tell you guys a hashtag that has to do with US politics that has been trending on Twitter. And then I'm going to give you what number it was on trending and how long ago it was trending. So now you guys have to guess how many tweets mention that hashtag. So you guys are going to have 20 seconds to guess, and I'm going to have you type your answer in the chat rather than saying it out loud. And then whoever is closest to the actual number wins that round. And then the winner gets their name on a virtual trophy. The first one is hashtag speakupvotebiden. And this was second on trending 11 hours ago. Your 20 seconds starts now. All right, all answers are in. So Julia guessed 90,000, Emily 110,000, and Tessa 65,000. And the correct answer is 39,000 tweets. So Tessa, you won that round. All right, next tweet is hashtag trumpispathetic. And that is number 1 on trending right now. So your 20 seconds starts now. All right, all answers are in. Julia guessed 60,000, Emily 55,000, and Tessa 40,000. And the correct answer is 70,000 tweets. So Julia, you won that one. All right, the last one, there are just 3 rounds, is hashtag debate in 6 words. And this was trending 24 hours ago. So your 20 seconds starts now. So Julia guessed 30,000, Emily 40,000, and Tessa 25,000. And the correct answer is 118,000 tweets. So Emily, you won this round. So we have a 3-way tie. So you guys will all be getting the virtual trophy with your names on it. Yay. So what were your guys' thoughts on this? Was it just kind of random to guess? How did you guess?
I kind of guessed based on how long the hashtag was. So I figured that if the hashtag was like longer or like more words, that maybe there would be less mentions.
I kind of thought about like whether it was something I would tweet about or like if it sounded like a hashtag that, I don't know, I thought would be like popular.
A 3-way tie was something we did not expect, but there's nothing wrong with everyone being a winner. A big shout out to Tessa, Emily, and Julia for playing with us today. Join us again next week for another round of Hashtagged.
I really love this new segment of Hashtagged, and Brett did a great job putting it all together for the first time.
I completely agree. It was so fun to watch everyone guess, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and my eyes peeled as to what hashtag blows up from tonight's debate. But that wraps it up for this Thursday. Thanks for tuning in.